All right. Everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Phil, the IT guy, and today we're going to continue on where we left off on episode 6. So, Proxmox is running, the M9 is on the network. Now let's build something with it. Um, Today, we're going to create the Debian LXC container that Frigate is going to live in. We're going to pass through the Intel GPU to the container. We're going to install Docker, and we're going to get Frigate running and get a video stream feeding into it. So we're going to do that live. Now, by the end of the video, we're going to have a working Frigate installation. Uh, Next time on the next episode, we're going to work on detection, MQTT, and Home Assistant integration. Uh, that's coming in episode 8, but right now we're just going to build the foundation that everything else is going to get built on. So we have something solid and we can move forward and add, I hope, 5 to 6 cameras to this thing later without anything that trips us up. So let's go ahead and let's get started. See, I have a successful one already up and running in here, but we're going to walk you through the procedure. The first thing I had to do, though, was go into the shell for Proxmox. And there's a few things that need to be changed. The first thing is we need to find the graphics card that you have. And to do that, we're going to look at the folders here. We're going to cd to dev. Oops, let's cd back. All right, so we're in the dev folder and we're going to cd to DRI. LS. And I could have just done an LS, whatever. Anyway, 2 cards. These files represent cards that were detected and install the drivers that are there for this. Card 0 and the renderer or the GPU portion of that card. So those are there. We need to add those in and make sure that those can be used by the system and pass through to any VMs or containers that we build. I'm going to run this command to get a list of VGA controllers in here. So we can see the Intel controller that is showed up. Let's just do a basic one. And that gives us the whole list of cards that it found in here. And this is information we're going to use later going forward. We're actually going to work on creating the container. And to do that, I'm actually going to go to my local drive, the local storage you can see here. For this, I'm going to make sure that I have a template. I already downloaded a Debian 12 standard template, but you click here, search for the template you want, and then select it, download it, and you can use it to create your containers or what have you in here. So once you've done that, we're going to go ahead and hit Create CT. We're going to give this a nice name, and we're going to call this test, and we're going to make this a privileged container. And the reason I do that is because I want to be able to see the GPU performance on the system. And for whatever reason in Proxmox, if it's an unprivileged container, you simply can't do that, even with the workarounds that I've tried for it. So we're going to go ahead and set up a password for this. I'm just going to call the password as password for this device for those purposes. And now we hit next. We select our template, the Debian. Our disks, I'm going to give it just a little bit more disk than it needs. I'm going to give it 2 CPU. Memory, I'm going to give it 2048. Network is interesting. We have to give it a static address, but we have to type in the CIDR at the end of it so it knows what subnet mask to use. 168.4.75. We'll go with that. And the gateway, whatever that is, in your environment. Okay, and I forgot to do the /.4 here. Next, and we're going to set Google as our DNS. Confirm the settings and hit finish. It's going to create this, and hopefully I get a thing in here. Oh, task warning. You may need to enable nesting. So this is going to be for 101 config. So let's go edit that. No, it's not 101. Yeah, it is 101. It's row X. There it is. Yes, 101. All right, so you can see its information is in here. We just need to update it with the other information. So let's go ahead and add those lines to it. And then we have the lines added to it, and we're going to add the nesting line at the top right after the cores. All right, ready bid. Just plain text. There we go. X, right, save. There, that's done. Easy peasy, rice and cheesy. Now, there is something else I'm going to want to do. I'm going to want to edit those, and I've already done this, but I'm going to want to take those files, or did I just type in here? Okay. We're going to want to take those files and do this. Change them so that we can actually use them from the virtual machine. So we want to do a chmod here on the D128, and we want to do a chmod on card 0. Same thing, so we can access them from the Docker container. And then we're going to add some lines to this file here, and you'll see this is already populated. I'm just telling it, hey, these are the ones we're sharing, and these are the permissions I've given them. So that's that. If you know of a better way to do any of that, please let me know in the comments. I'm always wanting to make it better, more secure, safer. But right now, I'm just doing what I need to do to get through it. Um, so now we're going to go ahead that we've created the container. We're going to open the console for the container, which means we have to start it. And we're going to log in. There. Oh, that's never going to work. Password is password. Okay. So now we're here. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I did this on Proxmox host already. I'm going to go through here and I'm going to apt install Intel GPU tools. And the reason is I can use this, if I can type, I can use this to verify that the GPU is being passed through. I'm going to locate package Intel. I cannot type today, folks. You're witnessing me at my absolute best. And we say yes. And now it installs all of this. So we're going to wait on that. May take a few moments, hopefully not a lot. Boom, there we go. Now it failed to fetch. We've got some problems here. Okay. Let's see if can't get these installed. There's always something tripping me up on every one of these. I think I'm gonna have to reboot the thing. We'll see what happens. There it goes. Failed to fetch. All right, so let's just update the whole console first. Reboot it, and then we'll try that again. Almost every single time I do this, I hit some new error. Something doesn't work exactly the way it worked the last time I did it. And there you go again. Another one. Good grief. All right, there's that. Now let's try to update everybody. Once again. All right, update went through. Now let's try our Intel GPU tools again. If not, we'll restart. Already the newest version. Okay, so it's good. All right. That being said, the reason I put that in is so I could do this. And that will show me that I am indeed passing this card into the container. Intel GPU top, Intel Alder Lake. The fact that I see this means I'm able to access that card, which makes me happy. The next thing we need to do is add our Frigate user. We're going to be running Frigate in the user context instead of root. So that's why we're going to add him. We need to set a password for this user. And of course, the password is password. Love it. And then we need to add this user to the sudo group. And then we need to make it so that they don't need to type their password whenever they want to do a sudo. Maybe we don't necessarily want to do that in the real world, but we don't want to do it in this example because I don't want to have to do that. There we go. And now we're going to exit and we're going to log in as that Frigate user. Password. And now we're in. Now, one more time, we run another update just to be sure. Make sure everything's 100% where it needs to be. Then we have to install Docker. Docker's a bit more fun, and we'll get started on that. To install Docker, we have to use their apt repository to do that. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and put this in. We have to put it. We have to get their key and everything else to validate everything. So we're going to go with whoops, not that. Well, let's do this before we do this. One more, just to be sure. All packages are up to date. The certificates, no errors. There we go. And this is the fun part here. Get the repository set up. One character out of place breaks the whole thing. And again, I'm going to leave all of this stuff in the description, or at least in a post on this afterwards. Don't hate me if I don't have it there the exact same day that I release this, because it's entirely possible I won't. All right, now four. And here we are to install the Docker engine, not the Docker desktop, Docker engine. Yes, I want to continue. I didn't come this far to turn back now. So again, this takes a little bit. And then we're going to check the status of Docker. Once it's done, systemctl status Docker, active and running. Let's verify that it is running. Paste. And of course, that didn't work because I need to do a sudo on that. And now it's downloading it. And hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. Great. One more thing to do. All right. So the next thing is to go ahead and get our storage set up. I just had to verify I was in the right context. I forgot that I logged in as a Frigate user. Been doing this a while. So we're going to make a directory and we're going to edit the docker compose.yml. And that's the file that tells us how to build the Docker container, what's supposed to be in it. And you'll see it here now. So we're going to go with nano docker-compose.yml, not YAML, but YML. And here we have a file. Well, there's nothing in it. So we're going to go ahead and put something in it. And not all of this is going to be used in production, but this is what we got. Now you can see we've got a few places where it doesn't like my spacing that I pasted in Notepad++. Whatever. We're going to fix it. All right. So what I'm doing in here is I'm defining the service, which is Frigate, the name of the container, restart it, unless I forcibly stop it. This is the image it's going to download and install in the container, which is the stable version of Frigate. The devices it's using from the pass-through, the card and the render D128 or the Intel Alder Lake GPU. We have the volumes in here and we have the ports, and then I'm setting the RTSP password to password not for production, just for getting this done purposes. We're going to save that, write it, and after we do that, we're going to start the container. The container's already started. I'm going to restart it. And then once it's back up, what we're going to do is go ahead and get our GPU tools set up on this. I want this container to have the GPU tools on it as well, so we can verify that that's working. I think I already did that, but yeah, I did, in fact. Um, So let's go with Docker Compose up. So let's go ahead and get that up. So here we go. Back into the console. Test login. Root or Frigate password. There we go. So let's go ahead and run this. This tells Docker to go ahead and use the compose file to build our container. And did I not do my sudo user? Thought I did. All right. Anyway, there we go. Okay, so this is going to take a little while, you can see. With this done, you can now see that the password for the new Frigate server is here. You have the admin, and what you're going to do is take this and go to the right place. So 192.168.4. I used 60 for mine, so I'm going to change this to 75 for this one. And here we go. We're going to go into, oh, bad request. That's not what I was hoping to see. Okay, a little trouble here. We'll fix it. Okay, simple mistake. You have to use you have to use HTTPS. I did an HTTP request. So here we go. Proceeding on, and we're going to use that really crazy long password, which is not password. The username is admin. We log in, and now there are no cameras here, but we are in the Frigate web interface. You can see it right here. All right, so we add a camera. New camera. You've got to know the name or whatever of your camera. I'm going to call this um, dumbbell. And it has to be like two B's, right? All right, so then we're going to give it an IP address. Mine is 4.50 in mine, and then we can type in a username or whatever if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. It needs it, truthfully. We probe it, give it the correct ONBIF port. Mine is 8000, and we continue. Hopefully we find our camera here real quick, and we did, and we see candidate 1 and 2. There are two different streams. We have the preview stream, that's the high quality one, and we have the preview or the sub stream, which is the one we're going to use for detection. So we test these connections, make sure they're functional. That one is. This one is also a good candidate, and we go next. We decide what we're using these for. The preview, the main one, I'm going to do that one for audio and for recording purposes. I'm going to add the other stream, which is the sub stream, and we're going to use it for detect. So we go next. There we have the camera views. Love it. And save that new camera. Now we're not 100% done yet. A couple more things to do in here. First, we enable this camera, and then we're going to go into the configuration editor here. A few things we want to do. We want to add an additional line in here, which is going to be underneath the FFmpeg settings. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to go back to this level, I believe, and we're going to add, if I can copy it correctly, hardware acceleration in here. It doesn't like the spacing that I used for that. I want it right under FFmpeg, right there. It still doesn't like it, so we'll go with what it does like. Hardware acceleration arguments preset VAPI. This is what tells it to use hardware acceleration for this camera. Make it better. So we're also going to add some additional information in here, which is the detector, and we want to use the Intel OpenVINO for this. So we're going to go in here, and after this line, we're going to add our detectors. And this is what I use for OpenVINO. I'm not even sure about the model, the width, or any of this other information. It's what I got. It works. And we're going to go ahead and save and restart this configuration. If we didn't mistype anything, it'll tell us it was saved. We hit restart, and now this is complete. We have Frigate installed. We have Frigate configured. We're going to wait for this to restart, and we're going to take a look at the logs and see if there are any errors that show up. And it may take a moment for this to do, but hey, I've got time, right? Let's go home. Up there it came up, and then we've got our camera in Frigate, and let's go to our system logs, and I don't see any errors in here. And this is why I've had to do this over and over and over to get the detect correct, to get the all of the hardware assisted acceleration working as well. So here we are, we have a good setup, and that covers everything we wanted to cover in the video for today. All of it is done. Now we need to work on the next set, which is going to be more complicated, even more than this. But we're going to get it. So Frigate's running, the doorbell is streaming, the container is isolated on its own hardware, so it's not going to be slowing down that. The GPU is fully accessible to it. So episode 8, the next episode, that's where it gets interesting. We turn on the OpenVINO detection. We set all of that up. We connect Frigate to Home Assistant and MQTT broker. We build the automation that fires everything. If somebody shows up with a package, I want it to do something. If somebody shows up and they're wearing a ski mask or they have that evil person mustache and a monocle, I want it to do different things based on what it sees out there. So that's what's up next. Thank you for putting up with this for so long, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Please like and subscribe.